Good evening to you all. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to have you today. I'm very, very glad to see you today. Thank you for making your time to come here to interact with me. I'm very, very glad to have you today. My name is Jonan Kandwanaho, and I'm the team leader at Jonaki Holdings Limited. And at Jonaki Holdings Limited, we offer credit. We do bridge financing, we offer financial relief, we offer credit. That's what we do. So you need money to clear that car, to import that car, or to clear that consignment, or clear URA, or import those goods. We get to support you quick. In a matter of hours, 12 hours, you have the money on your account. So that's what Jonaki Holdings does. And you can always check us out at www.jonakiholdings.com. Yes, so I come here to speak to us because we usually meet every Friday of the week from 5:30. So I get to share with you a number of things or on different topics, different areas. But specifically of late, I've zeroed down on money lending because it's what we do. And the number of people who are facing a lot of challenges, a lot of hiccups. And I think, as the Bible says in Proverbs 27, 17, iron sharpens iron. So I come here to sharpen you as you sharpen me. So we get to share experiences, because usual experiences, they say the best teacher, but it's a worst teacher, because in money lending or in financial industry, it is very, very costly. So you had better learn from someone before you actually pay school fees. And school fees is very, very expensive. So that's what brings me today. I'm here to talk to you. I also have come to notice that some of these things that I share on, they cut across. They do not only apply to money lending only as an industry, but rather they apply in other aspects of businesses, other business entities. So you can learn one or two things. Even if you're not lending money, you can still learn one or two things. And then above all, you have to get to implement, because until you do that, you won't benefit a minute. You won't even benefit a bit from all your talks. You'll have wasted your time and my data and your data as well. So let me go straight to our today's topic, which has been on my heart for quite a while, which is why you should join the Money Lenders Association, specifically of Uganda. So if you belong or if you run a money lending business in another country, it is important that you look out for an association in that other country so that you can actually belong. Because every entity or every business should have a belonging. It should have a home. It should have a house where it should belong. So I'll focus majorly on our jurisdiction, which is Uganda, to talk about the lenders, why you actually should join our association as lenders. First, it is important to notice that our industry has had some good names, but also some bad names. So I want to pose a question to you. Whose responsibility is it to clean up this industry? Because if you lend money and I lend money, and we're very well aware that, we have a particular name that has been tainted by some of the lenders, whose responsibility is it to clean up the industry? Because if we do not come up to clean up the industry, who will clean it up? We cannot operate freely. We cannot operate well unless we clean it up ourselves. So that explains one of the points, one of the reasons that's why you should join this Money Lending or Money Lenders Association of Uganda. So that you can participate in the cleaning up of this industry where you belong, where you're housed. So you'll be mean to yourself. It's like a tortoise they were talking about. You hide your head in the sand and think that you're not exposed. But if the whole body is exposed, you're just hiding your head. So if you're not participating, that means you're hiding your head, but your whole body is exposed. Because look, if anything happens to this industry, or if anything happens in this industry, it will affect all of us. If bad laws are passed on our behalf without our participation, because we don't have an association, it will still cost you, because before you know it, you get out of business. You cannot operate in the environment or in the industry. It will affect you. So you should actually participate. You should actually join the association. Join the association. As a matter of fact, we have a meeting on 3rd May at Hotel Africana. You actually have to show up. Show up. We have a breakfast meeting. Show up. If you've just watched this video and you have this business, or you've been running this business for a while, it is time to show up and we chart a way forward. Point number 2, the essence of this association is meant to protect us. First, protect us. It is meant to protect us. Look, I'll give an example of Uganda Bankers Association. And you've heard we have a nascent oil and gas industry. You can imagine the banks had to get together through the association to chart a way forward on how they can actually participate, or how able are they, do they have the capacity to finance the oil and gas industry. That's why they're syndicating in the banks. That's why if one of the banks in Uganda does not have enough money, they actually can pick money from a particular branch of the same bank in Kenya, or even here in Uganda. You might find the banks are working together. They even lend money to one another. If there's a big contract that has to be funded, they join hands. So who are we as lenders who cannot join hands? As a matter of fact, you may be lending as your maximum limit is 10 million. Whereas your maximum limit is 10 million, at Jonaki it could be 50 million. And to some other lender, it could be 300 million. So we have different sizes, we have different capacities. We need to synergize. That where you stop might be where you start from. So we need to synergize that when you get a client of that magnitude and you cannot serve them, where do you send them to? And that's why they're syndicating in the banks. Because I cannot serve this client, I shouldn't let that client go unserved. I shouldn't let that client go unhappy. Because if you do not serve that person, they're going to go unhappy because you've not served them. But if you know of another lender who has the capacity to serve them, then you actually refer them. Refer them. Sometimes you don't even have to ask for commission and all that, because that's sometimes weird. I find it strange. You may ask for commission, yes, but most of the time you may not even have to ask for commission, because look, if I get a client and I cannot serve them, I'll give back. I'll give them back to you. That's one of the principles I've even learned from BNI, Business Network International. The givers gain. You actually tend to gain more as you give. So let's not think competition, let's think how do we work together, how can we cooperate? Because in competing, we can actually still work together. Because we serve clients of different categories, you have different loan products. For example, there are other lenders who deal in markets. Guys lend to market people. Nakawa market, Golobi market, Ntinda market. And yet, probably at Jonaki, we lend to corporate clients. So if I get to learn of a person or a person who operates in the market and they actually need money, I refer them to you. So that's the instance of joining an association, so that we can support, we can have a synergy, we can support one another. That's a healthy competition, because you'll be growing and I'll be growing. If we run concurrent products, there's something else that we can actually support one another with. There are some hardcore clients, because I want you to remember that we do not subscribe to the CRB. If you run a CRB, you will not get a person who has been lent to by a money lender. You only get people who have been lent to by banks. We do not subscribe to the CRB system, the Credit Reference Bureau system. But how can we contribute to that when we're not together, first of all? When we do not have an association, first of all? When you do not know one another, first of all? We only have a regulator, Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. But we do not have an association that brings us together to have a common voice. So you can imagine if there's some hardcore client, if there's some fraudster, how will you get to know about him if you are not together? And yet I would be a call away. If I'm going to lend someone and it's a chunk of money, it's just probably a search away or probably log in a particular system and I can actually check out and know that this person is a bad person, is a fraudster. That's why you see a person can actually borrow from us and he goes somewhere as well. He borrows from another lender, then from another lender. Before you know it, he has defrauded over 5 lenders. Why? Because these lenders are not on the CRB system. And they don't have any association where they can actually blacklist this person or they can blacklist this fraudster. And yet if we had an association, we could have such a platform. Even if it's not a CRB system, we can have a platform where we can share our experiences, where we can share our clients who are hardcore, so they are blacklisted. So when it comes to you, you actually do not fall culprit. So it's an issue of protection. We need to protect our industry. We also need to know good clients. when you can actually contact me and say, you know what, there's this client who has come to me. Is he good? If I've ever lent to them, I can actually give them a go ahead. Like, you know, I've lent to this person. Or some of the clients, I bought a number of loans. Jonaki Holdings has bought a number of loans from banks and from other financial institutions. So you can imagine if you have to buy a loan from a particular institution and you don't have any clue of whether that institution exists or not. In any case, how will you grow? So we have to look at the element of protection through our association. Protection. Then the other key area, regulation. Policies are made, policies are put forward, some of the laws and regulations are put forward through engagements. They cannot pass a law without engaging the public. They cannot pass a law without engaging the key stakeholders. So if the law is going to be passed, because we already have an act, Money Lenders Act of 2016, and the regulations of 2018. So you can ask yourself, we didn't have an association. We don't have an association. It is just in the starting. It's not as sound. It doesn't have a voice. So you ask yourself, under the section of the money lenders or tier 4 microfinance institutions, whom do they consult? But you see, if you have an association, then you can actually get to be consulted. You can have a voice. There are some clauses you can say, you know what, this clause cannot work. Why? Because you operate in the same industry. You have the experience. But if you don't have this association, if you don't have this experience, then you cannot have a voice. What they wish is what they pass for you. And you know, when things get out of hand, for example, if you clash with the client and you have to get to the courts of the courts of the law usually favor the client. And the lender is usually kicked out. So what have you done as a player in this industry to support yourself, to have a voice, to know that even if you get to the courts of the law, you have an edge. You can actually be heard. What have you done is a question I'm posing to you as a player in this industry. So what is stopping you from actually signing up, from coming out and joining us for the breakfast on 3rd May, from joining the association, from establishing what it is that you require? What do you need? Because one of the requirements is you have to be registered. You have to be licensed. Because we cannot also support, we cannot mastermind illegalities. We cannot. So you have to be licensed. There are some of the kids who have been lending for a while, but you don't even know the process that you have to go through to get a license. So if you join such an association, we can actually support you in getting your license or renewing your license. You could be there, you're lending, you're struggling. Or you have the license, but you're struggling with some of the clients. There are modalities, there are procedures we can go through. I want us to look at it comprehensively. You could be suffering in the courts of the law and you don't know which lawyer can support. And probably I have a lawyer, or probably Jonaki has a lawyer who is legit, who is very good, who understands the industry very well. And I say, you know what? There's this lawyer who can be of help. Or there are these bailiffs that can be of help. Or there are these valuers that can be of help. Because if you're still valuing the cars, if you're still valuing the lands by your eyes, you have a problem. You have a problem. And you will not even grow. Because you're not a professional valuer. Because you're not a professional bailiff. Because you're not a professional accountant. There are professionals who have studied that, who have mastered that. But you actually have to seek their services. We used to do that at the start. You know, a client would come for money, and then you go to assess their land. You look at the land, you start asking neighbors, you start asking chairman LC1, LC2, LC3. What do you think is the value of this land? Come on. You cannot base on that to transact, especially some high-end transactions. If you're going to give a loan of maybe 200 million, and you have to ask a neighbor how much the plot of land is in that area, you have a problem. You need a person who has studied that and mastered it. You need a person who has experience. So you can imagine if you belong to an association, I can give you a contact of the valuer who does our work, so that you can benefit of that expertise. And those who can benefit of, if there are many lenders, the guy can even get to charge us a lower fee because he has a lot of business. So we have an economy of scale to negotiate a good price through referral. So I want us to look at it with a bigger mind, with a bigger picture, because we are not here to kick one another out of business, but rather to support one another. Because if you grow, I'll also grow. That's called give us gain. So it is very, very important. So I talked about protection, I talked about regulation, I talked about promotion. Promotion. How do we work together to promote this industry? I gave an example of Uganda Bankers Association. These guys came together and said, you know what? There's this oil and gas industry that is coming up. How do we approach it? Could we sponsor two parties that can go probably and study the law out of the country? Can we support ABCD, representative from the different banks, to go and explore? Can we ask for expression of interest to go and do research on the capacity of the banks, the commercial banks, to finance the oil and gas industry? That's promotion of the industry. That's promotion of the industry. But we cannot promote our industry if we are divided, if we are scattered. It is through our association that we can actually get to grow our industry, that we can get to grow ourselves. That's why I told you in the start. Guys contribute to a particular project. If it's a project that needs maybe $10 million, the different banks come together and say, how do we fund this elephant? But if you're still thinking isolation, you're still thinking cocooning, you're still thinking, you know, that myopic mind, then there's a problem. It is time to synergize. It is time to work together. It is time to cooperate. Because together we can ably accomplish huge things, huge milestones that we wouldn't have accomplished if we are doing them in isolation. So you can imagine if one bank had to struggle with a contract in the oil and gas industry, they would have suffered, and yet they can actually contribute and, you know, pull together the resources and fund a particular project and fund a particular, you know, innovation. You've seen a number of innovations, and in a way they are marketing themselves. It's a promotion. They are promoting themselves. They are promoting the industry. And in a way, the industry is growing. And who benefits at the end of the day? It is them. So if you're a lender and you're still out there and you're thinking, you know what, I can't join, then you have a problem. You actually have a reason. You have all the reasons to join the association. Because if you land in hot soup, it will be the association to actually negotiate on your behalf. It will be the association to actually, you know, stand for you and support you. But also, it will be helpful to the clients, because we lend to clients, we lend to the public. So until we work together, we cannot filter out the bad characters from this industry. Because, as you may know, they are bad characters. They are guys who lend money with the intention to defraud clients. And they taint our name. They taint our name. And whose responsibility is it to clean up the name? It is us. They are guys who lend. They've assessed someone. They are very well aware that this person cannot qualify for this facility, but they still go ahead and give them the money. You've well assessed me and seen that I cannot qualify for the loan. My financials show, my bank statement shows that the biggest money I've received in my life is 10 million. And here I am, I'm applying for 100 million. How do you expect me to pay? I am committing a collateral that is worth 500 million. Probably it's land that I inherited from my parents. I will definitely lose that land. So through the association, we shall get to protect the public as well. At Jonaki, we sit you down and tell you, know what, yes, you need this much money, but you don't have the capacity to pay back. And we cannot serve you. And in a way, we are protecting you. Because if we gave you that money, you will not afford it. And we are very aware that you cannot afford it. Before you know it, we shall foreclose on your land, and you lose that home, you lose that land that is so prime. And yet we knew from the point to go, or from the start, that you actually cannot afford to pay this loan. But there are some lenders who will say, you know what, because of the primeness of this property, we're going to lend to this guy. And with the intention to foreclose on that property. And before you know it, the guy has lost a property that was worth 1 billion shillings, over 200 million. Madness, madness. And they really knew that this guy cannot qualify. So we need to kick out such characters as well, because it is the similar characters that are actually tainting our name. Because also the public has to be protected. It is a service to the public as well. Because we need to grow that confidence. We need to build back the trust. Because if the public, who are your clients, lose trust in you, then you don't have any trust anywhere. Then before you know it, whom are you going to serve? Are you going to serve yourself? Are you going to blow your own money? Are you going to invest your own money? You have the money and you want to lend it out. The clients have to have trust in you before you lend to them. Especially in the financial industry. It is built on trust. I trust you first. That's what explains why someone can actually move from an institution that lends at 4% and goes to an institution that lends at 6%, but because they trust the one that lends at 6%. They are very aware that you know what, these guys are not after my property. They're not after foreclosing on my car, on my item property that I'm committing as a collateral. It is built on trust. And it is us, the lenders, through our association, that can actually build this trust before our clients, before the public. Because at the end of the day, we are not serving us, we are serving the public. So we need to win that confidence and win it rightly. We have to earn it. We don't have to buy it. We don't have to seize it. We have to earn it. And one of the elements that we can use to earn that trust back from the public, to cleanse the name of the money lenders, is through our association. So in a nutshell, come for a meeting on 3rd May 2023 at Africana for a breakfast. If you lend money, so that we can actually work together and see how we can serve our clients better. With that, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you tuning in. You can always check out this video on my YouTube channel, Jordan Kanwanaho. I also share a number of topics, so you can get to watch. If you also have interest in money lending, you can check out some of the videos I've done. But also I'm launching a mastermind on 4th, so where I take you through 5 sessions, 4.5 hours as contact time, and then you get to learn the industry before you join it. So if you have plans of joining the money lending industry, you can get to enroll in a mastermind, and then you see how you can benefit. With that, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. God protect you. God guard you. May the Lord cover you and bless the works of your hands. Go out there and be a blessing to that community, to that location, to that division, and for the benefit of the country and the world. Let the world benefit because you lived. Have a blessed Friday and enjoy the rest of the weekend. I love you all, and God richly bless you. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye-bye for now.